Two men have controlled the opening 5 rounds of TGP Rally's 15th season. Luca and Dom, the two Manxmen, have so far shared all victories with just 2 points between them and 2 rounds to go. The first of these final tests sees the championship head to Kenya. The variable conditions and treacherous roads make for the toughest round of the season. Throw in the stunning scenery and it makes for the most spectacular too. It is Dom who holds the slight advantage in the standings, despite having a win less than Luca, but proving just how tricky this rally can be. Only half a minute into the first stage, the championship leader rolled his Mini and dropped 12 seconds, already down in 11th place. Phil was another to hit trouble early on, as he placed 15th after running into a large stone and picking up a double puncher in the process. Cord was fastest through the opening test to take an early lead, while Aiden, Luca and Zach were all within 3 seconds of his time. Meanwhile, it was an impressive start from Hickey, who found himself 5th and narrowly ahead of Owen. Manxman Dom responded strongly through Kanyawa Nakura, setting the fastest time that would move him up 7 places to 4th. Aiden was only 400ths away from the time set by Dom, and it saw him take a shock lead of the rally. That was because Cord threw away valuable time after twice cutting a corner that handed him a 5-second penalty for each. It meant Aiden now held a brilliant 10-second lead. It was very close for 3rd overall, with Luca now only a 10th clear of Dom, following a steady pass through the 2nd stage. Zach sat a further few tenths behind in 5th. Owen was caught out through the fast finish when a bump sent him offline and into a tree. He was lucky to get back on course, but it was another 9 seconds lost to the leaders. Alistair and Calvin were 3rd and 4th fastest through the stage, and it saw them both make up places to now place 6th and 7th overall. Carrying only 1 spare tyre, Phil was forced to tackle the 11km stage with a puncher carried over from the previous run. A full minute was lost, and the former champion was now down in 20th. A couple places higher up and through that fast finish, Andy was fortunate to get away with this roll after clipping the banking. The heavens opened through the 4.5km King Ono test, and Dom was quickest once again. But like the stage previously, it was won by the tightest of margins. Owen just 12 thousandths away from the fastest time, with a solid pass that saw him move into the top 5. While all his rivals went for a new set of hard tyres for the second leg, Aiden elected to keep his used mediums from the first 2 stages. And the Scot continued his impressive form, running 3rd quickest at only 3 seconds behind. He maintained his rally lead, now 8.5 seconds clear of Dom at the halfway point. Zach was seeking a first win in 6 seasons, but killing a photographer was not going to help his chances here. It had been a tough run of rallies for the man who was tipped as a pre-season favourite, and Court's rotten fortune continued as a wide line saw him clip a rock and break all sorts of physics.
What the are you kidding me? Nah.
The Dutchman fell to 10th, and once again a rally win was looking incredibly unlikely. Just when Dom seemed to be getting back into contention for victory, the slippery surface through the 4th stage sent him off course that would result in a crucial time loss to Aiden. Aiden was able to go 8 seconds faster, meaning his margin over Dom increased to a safer 17 seconds. Luca would also capitalise from Dom's error, as his pace was enough to see him move back ahead of his rival. Incredibly, it was Arctic who set the fastest time though, running a second quicker than what Aiden had managed, and it was enough to move him into 4th overall. Owen's rollercoaster rally saw him drop outside of the top 5, losing control over another bump handed him a second 5-second penalty as a small tree dragged him in. Not too much further up the road, Alistair would find his Ford in a spin, with a position lost to stage winner Arctic, and now a tight gap between himself, Leon, and Court in the fight for 9th. So far, every stage win had been decided by less than a second. But through Marula, Owen seemed a man possessed, with a time that was incredibly more than 5 seconds quicker than anyone else. It would move him back up to 4th overall. Luca kept hold of P2 despite this error. He was lucky to not pick up any damage, but with Dom seemingly off the pace through the penultimate stage, Luca maintained position with a gap of just 4 tenths now separating these 2 fierce rivals. There was no need to take any unnecessary risks for the rally leader, but Aiden only knew how to push hard. And when he clipped the same rock as Luca, his hard work was almost all undone. He reached the stage end with radiator damage, but thanks to the time loss of his closest rivals, his lead was still 13 seconds strong. Dom was determined to pinch second at the very end, and with power stage points also on offer, this was one stage that could ultimately win or lose him the championship. It was a very strong run from the mini runner that gave him a great chance of passing his rival. Luca needed to respond, and through the first few splits his delta was positive. It was all looking good, but so near the finish he overshot a junction and lost a few seconds that was enough to hand the place to Dom. Luca would fall to third. Aiden was carrying damage up front, but with just this final 5-kilometre stage to get through, he was able to get the car home and seal an elusive first rally victory. Despite his late scare, it had been a superb drive from the Scot, who was thoroughly deserving of his win. Owen held on to fourth meanwhile, with Zach and John completing the top 6 seconds covering this trio. Alistair set the fastest time through the power stage and moved up 2 places to 7th overall. Dom's time was only 6/10 slower, with Owen a further 10th back in third. 6 seconds covered the top 10, while Luca's final stage blunder meant he wouldn't score any bonus points here. So it was a gain for Dom in terms of the championship standings, his lead now at 10 points, with the final round in Chile to come. Zach holds third, with Owen and John now tied for 4th overall. Court and Phil would have hoped for much more, but already their attentions will be turning to next season. Leon holds the Welsh bragging rights in 7th, 3 places higher than Calvin. Up next, the championship heads to Chile, the league's 100th rally. It's set to be the longest event yet, and with the title set to be decided, it's going to be one not to miss.